And to discuss the Institute of Public Affairs Chief Economist, Adam Creighton, joins me now. Adam, great to see you again. Look, tell us about this research that the IPA is working on that examines the cost of net zero and how it would compare to the tariffs and their impact in Australia.
Yeah, certainly, Sharri. Well, it's very preliminary research. I can't give you specific figures yet, but you're quite right. There is this obsession with Trump's tariffs, and it's only 10% on Australia, and we don't export much to the US in the first place. So actually the cost for Australia will be quite small. But at the same time, we also have this thing in Australia called a safeguard mechanism, where the 200 biggest so-called polluters, they have to drastically reduce their emissions by 2030, and some of them will shut down, and some of them will have to pay tens of $millions in tax. And effectively, it's a carbon tax by stealth, and the ultimate cost is going to be many hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's quite likely in my view, that the ultimate cost of the safeguard mechanism will be greater than the Trump tariffs' direct impact on Australia. And I don't think enough Australians realise that we actually impose a tariff on ourselves. And yes, we are working on the specific numbers, but it's still very preliminary. But it's something that all think tanks in Australia should be working on, rather than obsessing about Donald Trump.
I want to ask you about tax reform. It's something we've spoken about a lot in the past. Now, Peter Dutton gave an interview with the Australian's editor-at-large, Paul Kelly, where he indicated his aspiration to index tax brackets in line with inflation. Have a look.
I want to see us move as quickly as we can as a country to changes around personal income tax, including indexation, because bracket creep, as we know, is a killer in the economy, and it stifles productivity and entrepreneurialism and hard work, etc. But we need to do it at a time where the budget can afford to do so.
Adam, this would be genuine reform, excellent reform that whoever's in government should absolutely be embarking on, indexing the tax brackets in line with CPI.
Yeah, look, it's just so bad that the coalition did not seriously go to the election with this. This would have been a huge philosophical difference. I mean,
yes,
the lack of indexation is basically a totally unlegislated tax increase every year. It's completely immoral. And just as the opposition leader just said, you know, it kills entrepreneurialism, it kills productivity. And if those things are true, then why doesn't he do it right now? It doesn't make any sense to me that they haven't gone with it. I think this vague promise is just not good enough. I mean, most serious countries in the world already do this. The United States, France, Canada, Germany. I mean, you know, we index our pensions, we index our family benefits every year, but poor old taxpayer doesn't get any indexation. And that effectively means a tax increase every year. And that is the only way the governments of both persuasions can just keep increasing their spending every year.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a tax increase by stealth when it comes to the safeguard mechanism, but this truly is a tax increase by stealth, and it's taking more a higher proportion of people's income tax brackets, because bracket creep, particularly when inflation's rising, and you know, people say, oh, inflation's falling, but people don't realise that actually the cost of goods is still rising. Yes, the level at which it's rising isn't as much as it was, but it's still rising above the target range. And I think this is something that people don't understand. The inflation battle isn't over, Adam.
Yes, no, that's certainly right. It's something in economics we call money illusion. People don't think about inflation. They don't understand it. And actually with bracket creep, they often think that you need to move into a different bracket for it to be effective. But no, you just need to have a pay rise in your current bracket, and then more of your wage is going to be taxed at a higher rate. So you're still paying a higher average tax rate, even though you have not gone into a higher bracket. So it affects everyone all the time, and it's extremely insidious, as you just say.
Look, we've been speaking about the coalition's major defence announcement today. What's your view on this policy?
Well, look, I think politically, 540,000 people have already voted, and they've just released it. So I think it's a bit late in the day to be releasing it, and I think there should have been a little bit more flesh on the bone in terms of what it means. But I think it's certainly in the right direction. We need to increase our defence spending, and there's plenty of IPA research on this. We need to go from 2% of GDP to 3% of GDP. And as I understand it, this is going to 2.5% of GDP, which is good, but it's still going to take 5 years. And I think we really need to take defence far more seriously, given the geopolitical threats, not just from China, as we well know, but also now increasingly from Russia in our region.
No, indeed. All right. Adam Creighton, thank you so much.